Today's exercise falls on the positive psychology side of the coaching that I do. Now, I use normal practical coaching tools, as many coaches will, in order to move you from where you are towards your goal. However, the difficult part for any coach or anyone who's working to achieve anything is retaining the motivation to move from knowing, yes, I need to do that, to actually doing it. And that's where positive psychology comes in. Using positive psychology, and this is a practical tool under that bracket, you engage what are known as soft health drivers. And those are things that simply make us feel really good. And those can include feeling proud of ourselves, feeling confident within ourselves, being energized, seeing friends and feeling great because they make us feel warm and fuzzy. It might be engaging our spiritual side. It might be using affirmations. It might be feelings of gratitude. All of these positive feelings make us feel better about doing the tougher stuff or doing stuff outside our comfort zone. And so that's why these coaching playlists will divide themselves between straightforward coaching tools and the positive psychology ones. Today, I want you to engage with feelings of self-confidence, self-pride, and self-compassion. And this is the life wins exercise. I want you to identify a few life wins from the age of 0 to 12, as a teen, recently, so within the last year or so, and yesterday. Life wins can be whatever you like. They can be achievements, they can be things you've got medals for, or alternatively, they can be life goals, like buying a house. They can also be little tiny things, which is why I've got yesterday in. For example, actually taking the time to stop and have a cup of tea. So let's go through this. And by thinking about this, some of you might recognize this as similar to the show reel meditation that's out there, where we think about those life wins, but in the form of a meditation. This is just writing them down, making them visual, and going through the same process. So whichever you prefer, you can use. But let's think of 0 to 12. So what sort of things did you achieve between those ages? That's sort of primary school age. One thing I remember achieving was I won a fancy dress competition. It's special to me because I had wanted and dressed up as Wonder Woman. I loved it. I was in a swimming costume. I had an apron for a cloak. I made my crown and my bracelets. And I was so proud of winning that, not just because it was a DIY jobby, but actually because everybody else was dressed up as a princess, and they had really nice princess outfits. So it wasn't the similar thing that you get today. It wasn't your Disney outfits. It was your flower girl outfits. They were classy outfits. So for me, it's my fancy dress win. I think that was one of my favorites. You can have more than that. So just think of whichever ones you like. I am going to go on to teen now. As a teen, one of the things that I'm really proud of doing is I made some really good friends. Now, I made some great friends in primary school, and we recently had a 40-year reunion. But I moved when I was, I think, 10 and a half to Hastings, and that was quite an upheaval for me. I didn't know anybody, and it was difficult. But the friends I made in secondary school, I'm so proud to say we're still in touch with, we've been in touch with throughout our lives, and it's lovely, and it just feels like I had some roots, and so it's firm friendships for me. But there may be other things, so don't just stop there. I've probably cheated a little bit because I've only given you one thing, so let's think back. Okay, 0 to 12. I also won a tie-tying competition. Those are achievement wins, as in got a prize for them. So that's something that's clearly quite important to me, that makes me feel good, that pride in knowing that I have achieved that, I've won that. It's worth reflecting in that way. What sort of themes are coming out when you're doing this? And then as a teen, As a teen, I did two things which really asserted my independence. And actually, no, three things. Three things. The first was I asked for drama lessons because I was doing speech and drama, I was doing dance, I was doing what my parents wanted me to do. But I love acting, and I actually started drama, and I started really blossoming when I did drama. So that was one thing. The other thing was actually choosing to move back to London to do my sixth form. And that was a real growing up exercise for me. So moving back to London. But strangely enough, after I started my degree, I then swapped degrees from drama to psychology. So in a way, this was all about finding my identity, and psychology is certainly something I've stuck with. So thinking about that, swapping to psychology, that's the shorthand I use for psychology. Thinking about that, what seems to be coming out here is asserting myself, finding my identity, finding my authenticity, knowing who I am, which is probably quite normal for the teenage years as well. Recently, within the last year, I've really improved my tech skills. I've had to, because we've moved online for pretty much everything. But not only have I improved my webinar streaming skills using the online platforms, but I've also improved my video editing. I've improved the little extra bits that I can put in if you look at some of my 2-minute tip videos. And I'm really proud of that, because that's something I've always enjoyed, but it's something I always used to get my husband to do. So now I've learned to do it, I can do it myself, and I don't need to rely on anybody else. So just boosting my own skills there, and that's been fun. A necessity, but fun. And yesterday, what did I do yesterday that I'm really proud of? Yesterday, I had three actually really lovely webinars, but one in particular stands out, and it has been standing out recently because it's been an interactive one. And I really miss that face-to-face communication as a teacher. And what I love about this little extra webinar that I do, it's like a coaching session that's in a group format. So it's not just chalk and talk. I actually not only see everybody who's part of that particular group, but in that session, which is only an hour long, I can see people grow. And that used to inspire me all the time when I used to teach drama. And you can see drama psychology has always been that flip. And yesterday, it was just that moment of connection. So I think having connections, making a connection was important. And that's something I'm going to keep thinking about doing. So what you might notice as you go through this is you'll probably feel those feelings of joy or warmth or pride, and reminding yourself that you have been able to do these things, and life might have been tough for you at the time, and the fact you overcame them means you can do it again.